This is Joey. This is my son. He is going to do a brisket this weekend. He's going to trim it and everything. So you say you have got a really great idea for an injection. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so you take the camera and you tell me what to do. What is this?
This is beef stock.
Okay. Now what do you want me to do?
You put a little bit of vinegar, apple cider vinegar. Then beef broth.
Enough?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now what?
Then this stuff.
Oh, Worcestershire sauce?
Mm-hmm.
Worcestershire?
Seasoning.
Okay. This is my regular rub. Put it in here?
Yes.
Okay. Is that enough? I guess I put it all in there, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now what?
You put this seasoning in.
Oh, that's Montreal steak seasoning. Okay. So that's
and
enough.
you also put the bay leaf in.
Okay. Put the bay leaf in. Brush it up.
And then you put it through the coffee stuff so it filters out all the good juices and it's for the injection.
Oh, you mean like this? Okay, okay, let's try it.
On medium.
Let's do a large.
Okay.
Oh, this works a lot better.
Pour them both in there.
All right, so the butter. Oh, that's going to be good. And then this stuff that we made. Hopefully it won't spill all over this. There we go. Should I throw an ice cube in there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll make sure it's cool before we use it. Okay. Here's the brisket you chose. I love it because this is so thick. Nice thick. And we're just going to do a backyard type of thing. This will be easily removed. There's a little problem there. Now, that would be a problem during competition. But the reason why is because by the time you get through whittling that out, you got a pool. Not sure what I'm going to do about that right now. And let's see the other side. We've got this very thick vein. I can feel it, a fat there to have to deal with. Okay. Well, I'm going to put my glove on. I don't have any rubber gloves, so we're going to have to...
Come on, baby. You know you want to do it. Fellas, yeah. Whose Stella is this? My Stella. Whose Stella is this? My Stella. What you doing over here with me? What you doing over here with me? I don't know. Who taught you swimming? Like that. No money. You. Yeah. You better dance, honey. Dancing. Yeah. Tell me, come here. Hey, little cutie, what you drinking? Scope this, I was just thinking. You plus me, what a ride. If you were thinking the same, we could do it outside. Lay your pretty body against the parking meter strip. You're dressed down like I was stripping up Peter Paul's. Home and joy, let me show you, babies. You're a talent boy. And tonight, he's a star. And his daddy, Mr. Greener, is a big dipper. Show of hands, y'all. Show of hands. How many of y'all just came to dance? Let me see you shake your pants. Now, my daddy don't give up about what you got on. Let me show you how to shake that sexy body all night long. Shake it, baby. Shake it all night long. Shake it all night. Hey.
Joey, this right here is the point. The grains are going kind of like this way. The flat, you see, the grains are going that way. So you got grains going this way and grains going that way. And the point meat looks like it's going to end right about there, and then we take over the flat. The flat we want to protect, so we're going to leave most of our fat here. While as this has so much marbled fat in it, we're going to strip off most of the fat from the point. Okay? So I'm going to get on that now. Alright, Joey is getting ready to put up all the meat that we cut off. Looks like about 1/3 of fat meat, but we're going to make sausage out of that. As you see, he's got it cut with the point a little larger than the flat, because this is going to shrink. and all the edges nice and rounded. We are ready for an injection. Okay, now the last thing we want to do is determine where to slide. I've got grains going this way, and I've got grains going this way. So if I've got grains going this way and grains going this way, the question is where do I cut to get both of those grains? Where do I start cutting? And the answer is going to be right here.
But I do. I won't turn nobody on unless it's you. I don't wanna dance too hard, babe, but this is a groove. I'm hot and I'm carrying music. I got a job to do. Yes, I'm working, making the black sweat. I'm working, making the black sweat. I'm working.
Flats in there. I lift it up to make sure the stuff gets underneath it, and I'm just going to go ahead and lay all this other stuff on top of it, and we're going to put it in the refrigerator just like this, and we will probably, I'll go ahead and mix up my rub. Okay, Joey is going to do the Grace Jones Rubber Grabber. This is a not so much a binder as a flavor agent and bark builder. Okay, pour just a little bit in that very slowly, very slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4 squirts. That's good. 2 squirts of soy sauce. 1, 2. Good. 3 squirts of balsamic vinegar. 1, 2, yeah, 3. Good. Now, okay, and the last part is molasses. Get that knife ready. 1, 2. That's good. That's good. That's good. Good. Back a little bit, about that much with pepper, and I filled about this much with salt. So basically, one of the ways I did it was, I remember how much pepper I had. Poured that in. So there's your salt. And I'm going to add a little bit, maybe about 1/4 of that, of this stuff, which is steak seasoning. Add that in there, and that is it. Unless I want to add some cayenne pepper, but I'm not going to. I'm actually going to add some of this. Look at that. Look how dark it is. Okay, it's got a little heat to it. It's got a little molasses. There's molasses in my rubber grabber. That's what we're going to use. I'm going to shake this up, and we are ready for tomorrow. Ooh. Okay, so tomorrow morning, we're going to put that rubber grabber on there that we made. And that's sort of a binder, but it also kind of colors the bark. We're going to go ahead and put our Lawry's on. And I'm going to add a little bit of lemon pepper to it. This is salt-free lemon pepper. Walter Chaton used to use this stuff, at least the sour salt, which is something they used to call it sodium citrate or something like that. Citric acid, yeah. Okay? And I'm going to add, so these 3 things will go on the brisket. Let's take a look at it. This is the rub.
There you go. Now bring it down to the bottom. That's it. Do it. We're preheating it now. It's 6:30 in the morning. This is Joey. Good job. All over it.
Does, say I ain't got no baby, but I be a man. Can I be a man if I smoke your brisket? Would you let me lick you? I mean, help me count your
One of the things I like about this
fingers.
binder flavor enhancer stuff is that, remember this area where we had to gouge? I mean, it's still there, but I wasn't going to whittle it away. It lets us know where our trouble spots are going to be. And they're going to be right here. Right there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to sop up a little bit before we even go on. Alright? So I'm going to lift this and push. And then also...
Come on, ladies. Can I,
Alright. Oh, I have a little thumbprint here. Okay. There we go. We're all...
Can I,
We're all ready. Last time I limited the smoke ring because I put it in a pit that was preheated at 350, and then used my phone to bring it down to 220. But it took forever to get to 220. So the outside heated up a little bit too quickly, and I didn't get that good smoke ring. This time, we're going to immediately bring it down to 220 or below, and not even put the brisket in until we're all stabilized. So we got plenty of time. So take a look at our brisket. When you look at it sideways, you notice that it's uniform in shape. So really, we're not quite doing a backyard. Otherwise, that sucker would be really, really big. So we're kind of doing still a competition. I thought I'd teach you a few skills. Okay, so Joey, is it important which way you put this in the smoker?
Yes.
Why?
Because the point is more dense and they get absorb more heat, which is better for the brisket.
Okay, so which side are we going to put the point?
This side.
Yeah, okay, why this side?
Because it has more heat.
Okay, good, all right. And what's this log right up here?
This is the damper, which we're going to put it in front of the heat, so it dampens the heat so we don't damage the brisket.
Oh, very good. Well, you know your shit. It's getting a little late. You see there's a little bit of blue there. I've taught him that there's the big difference between the smoke when it's really white. Whoops. We smell it, and if it begins to smell like something you would want on your brisket, but not an aftertaste, then we know we're ready. It could be a little bluer, but this is the beginning and we're cold smoking, so I'm going to push the envelope a little bit. But you still see that it's kind of blue. Now, we've added an extra damper. This right here is our lard tray. I don't always use the lard, but I always make sure I make it. So we've got water in here, we've got spices, we've got the fat pieces, and that's going to go on a second shelf that's going to be underneath to also further protect it. So we're really overprotecting. We don't need to do this. You've seen me do briskets that I didn't even wrap. Okay? All right, so next you're going to see Joey load this. Put it in. All right, everything looks stable. Go ahead and close the door. So now we got a blue smoke, and I am going to add some wood, but it's going to be to the ash chute on the bottom. That way I can control it. I do have 2 pieces of wood in there to get it started, but I don't normally like to load the wood in here like some people do, because then I have no control over the smoke. If it all ignites at once, then I'm over smoked my meat, and there ain't a damn thing I can do about it. Now, before you start loading wood, tap it a little bit, and that gets the ashes to come down, because you are going to stick your hand in there. Although I don't do it, you probably should use one of these. And I'm going to load this wood on the extreme, see how that stuff dropped? On the extreme left-hand side to slow the amount of smoke I'm getting, and put one right there, and that's all I'm going to use right now. Now, if something should happen and I'm getting too much smoke, I can actually get a pair of tongs and remove that stuff or reposition it. Okay, Joey, I'm going to show you how to do a spritz because we're coming up on a spritz. All right? Take this right here, which still has a little bit of the rubber grabber still in there. Close it and press small. I've got really dark roast coffee in there. So I've stirred that up to get it all mixed up. I probably shouldn't have done that. This is already hot, so I'm going to put 1 heaping teaspoon, or whatever that spoon size was, to melt this sugar, brown sugar. Stop. So that I'm going to add a little bit more Lawry's and stir again, breaking up that brown sugar. Stop. Ready? Mm-hmm. All right, just to make sure that I do not get any spices to clog the nozzle. Look at that. That would cause the nozzle. I go ahead and put that in there. I'm now going to add, let's take a look here, well, hold it. Probably going to add to right about there in apple cider vinegar, which is, I'm just going to go ahead and pour the rest of this bottle in. Alright, that's a little bit much. That's okay. And I'm going to fill to right up here with beef broth. So we got beef broth, we've got the elements of the rubber grabber in there, which has molasses. We've got vinegar, and we have coffee, all in the spritz. All right, so technically we're about an hour in the process. That's about all I want to do at the lower smoke. So as soon as we get through spritzing this once, I'm going to bump the heat up to 300 degrees. Now this bark is not set, but it's doing well. So 2 products we're going to use on it. One is called, I cannot believe it's not butter. And then we're going to lightly hit it. You hold that? And spin this around. Check the back side. That back side's going to be a concern for me because it's kind of thin right there. And then we're going to lock this up. Pretty much. Whoops. Ow. That's hot. All right, Joey, how's it smell out here?
Great.
Show us the smoke. There is none. Okay? So we're really cooking really, really well. It is now time to check that bark. Open up the door. Sweat. Right here. Take a look right here. This here, right here. This is where we want to spray a little bit, but not the rest. Along this edge, but not the rest. Over here, and not the rest, and on this back side. We're going to add drippings to this sauce, but not until the end. So you won't see me put much salt into it. The reason why is because the drippings are going to have a lot of salt. Now the drippings for this particular brisket are not going to be exactly like Angelo's because Angelo's mostly uses this right here as a salting agent for their briskets, so therefore it goes in there afterwards. So I'm going to add a little bit of that. But also too, we don't know how much of the drippings we're going to use, so that's the other reason why we wait until the end to adjust our salt level by adding the beef drippings. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put on an onion to saute. When you smell the garlic, Joey is going to add, add 2 cups of apple cider vinegar quickly. Okay, put that over there. Now we're going to add 3/4 cup of Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. Now, in order to extract the most out of our spices, we're going to put them in now. That is 3 tablespoons of pepper. This is 2 tablespoons or more of chili powder. This is a combination of onion powder. That's 1 teaspoon each of onion powder, cayenne pepper, and garlic powder. Good. Still more on there. Go ahead and throw that cup of coffee in there. That's coffee. And we're going to add 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. Okay, now we're going to stir that and make that funky for about 10 minutes. We don't want to boil it too much because we don't want the vinegar to go away. Okay, would you agree that we're ready? I also threw in a bay leaf. So we've extracted a lot of that flavor out. Now it's time to add my tomatoes. So we're going to be adding, Joey, this is 3 cups of V8 juice, original. Okay, set that over there. 1 can. Now normally this is 29 ounces, so we're a little short. Normally I use the 32, I think it's 32.5 carton. So throw that in there. And then we're going to wash those out. Put them over there. And then this is 2 cups of ketchup. Good. Now set that over there. I de-slurried this stuff, so that's the remainder of all the stuff once we've run a little water through it. Now we're going to stir that, and the only thing I want to add is, you shouldn't do this if you're using the Lawry's on your brisket. I'm going to add a little Lawry's salt, and then we're just going to simmer it. Don't taste it now. It's not going to taste right because you remember you got to add those brisket drippings toward the end. Defatted brisket drippings. And this is going to upset some of y'all, but this is actually what they add. I'm going to add just a touch of liquid smoke. And to take the bite off of it, I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of this molasses.
Go.
All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all the molasses or all the sugar that's going to be in there. That's it. Okay, now, come on, focus. Okay, now what Joey's doing is he's scraping the bottom, making sure he doesn't feel that viscosity from the molasses. We don't want it to burn on the bottom. What do you think? You got it? Mm-hmm. Okay, now what we're going to do is, you see this eye right here? I've got it on its lowest setting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it and I'm only going to push it about that far back, so it's not directly under it. And we're just going to let this simmer for a while. Process this au jus. The thing about this sauce is, in recipe you don't add any salt, because at the end you're going to add drippings. And that adds smoky flavor and everything. It's just so damn awesome. So the sauce I made the last time, it is an incredible sauce, and I tell the story. I've been obsessed with this sauce for my entire life. It's kind of a knockoff of Angelo's barbecue sauce in Fort Worth, Texas on Camp Bowie. I haven't strained it. I don't particularly want to, but it's got the brisket drippings inside of it, but you don't add that to the end. And oddly enough, it has V8 juice in it. It's a very tomatoey, my mouth is watering just thinking about it. Very tomatoey, vinegary, lemony, but not sweet in any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, there's no sugar at all in here. There is molasses. It's coffee. And I remember pouring this over potato salad. I'm going to link you up on this post to the post in the Barbecue Brethren where I give the recipe. Go on over there and join if you haven't. See, I tipped this thing over to get that thing from, remember we were worried about this area pulling. So, let's take a look at this sucker real quick. Here's the bottom. Now, here's the deal. This is a decision I've been making. I'm going to do something the opposite. In competition, you keep this side up all the time. I'm actually going to put this side down. I did that once before, and the reason why is because I love the fat. See the fat that's on there? Get a close up of this thing. No,
It's zoomed in.
there you go. I love the fat on it. So, we're going to do this. I'm going to put a little bit more, just a little bit, of the rub on it. I'm going to spray it. But I cannot believe it's not butter because I went to looking for butter, but then I couldn't find it. And someone said, hey, this is butter. And I took the butter, but then I found out it's not butter. So now I don't believe anybody. Kind of a long day for product. And then I'm going to just spritz it a little bit. It seems a little bit redundant because I'm going to take the spritzing liquid and also put it in the bottom here. Just a little bit. I like to feel on each side because it's going to give up its own juices. And put some juices here. And pour that over it as well. Paper. And now the wrap. You can stop.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is going to be a double wrap, and I'm finally going to do something that Clarence Joseph of Papa Joe's, Mama and Papa Joe's Smokers out of Texas, Converse, Texas, keeps saying to do. He makes his seals where he can open them up again. I think he does something like that. He also wants it to braise and not steam, so he gets rid of the spaces. This one will not probably be as tight as it can be. That's probably the, see, that's the flat end. Excuse me, this is the point end. So over here is the one I'm going to have to test because I already know the flat. Okay, I've got thermometer and the point already. It went in like butter. But the flat is what we care about. So I'm opening up this. I'm going to stick it straight in like I did before. It is tough. Be careful not to point the bottom. And then what I've done also is I've propped it up a little bit for that, so that I can easily get in there next time. Okay, so now my probes are in there. We want the probes coming out the same area. Over here. Okay, and now we're going to cover it. And the red is the pit temperature. So pit temperature is 127 and rising because we had it open. 172 is the point. 177 is the flat. Now, the point cooled down a bit when we brought it in. Take a look at this. This hump over here is just simply, here's the piggy tail, which is the flat side. Piggy tail for the where the leaves are coming out. And if I put my hand here, I can feel that this right here is actually the point, and this is a flat. 289 pit temperature, 210 flat point temperature, 204 flat temperature. I want you to take this right here, and I want you to push it lightly. Do you feel resistance? Mm-hmm. Good, stop. It's not ready. It needs to go through like butter. Now this part's going to be done right here, so we're going to put it back in there. Okay, we're going to go in there, we're going to probe it again, and it's a little bit more tender, but not enough. But I don't want to overcook this, so I'm going to let it just sit here. Normally I would open it up. If it was right on point, I would open it up and let it cool down because we want to freeze that flat at that temperature. Right now the flat is on the bottom, okay? And where I'm probing it, it's still a little tough. We're going to let it sit here for about another 10 minutes. Then we're going to open it and rest it, okay? maybe 5 minutes. At this point, thermometers are not important. It's all about it's all about the tenderness. So I've let this sit for a while. And you can probably see why I like the fat so much. I'm going to remove this. Remember, this is the easy part because this is the flat's going to be nice. This is part of the exposure of the flat. The rest of the flat is down here, which makes me actually think I might have actually overcooked this because I'm normally probing on the top. But we'll see. Okay? So we're going to let this stay open for a little bit to cool off, to stop the process of cooking. And then we're going to cover it up and put it in a place to rest. See all this juice down here? It's going to soak that juice back up. Alright, so here we have the brisket. We just dried some of the bark, and now we're going to do a glaze. This is the fat side, which is really the way I like to do it. Now we're going to glaze this up a little bit.
I'm not in love anymore. Oh, I've been through too much.
Let it
Got
harden up
something better
in the dip.
Oh,
And then rest it again, but uncovered. We're ready to go. Alright, first piece, remember, nothing's going to happen. So we're going to have pairing at the flat. Flat is upside down. Normally during a competition, you do it the opposite way. Properly doing this. Let's try this piece. Filling it. Okay. You ready? Yep. Kind of moist. Oh, that's fat or something else. This is really, we're getting into the point meat here in the next few slices. Right now it's mostly flat. Now I'm going to start doing my slices the right way, and it looks like we have skillet.
Looks great.
It is good. Dude, I want to add your injection to my injection, so you're going to need to sign the waiver. You see that sweetness it has?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to stop cutting. Right into competition slices, okay? Because you got a little bit of this and a little bit of the fat. Of course, I'm slicing upside down. Let's see. And it's holding together pretty well. Let's see what it would be like if I slice. See, look at the crack? That's a loser right there. Let's take a look at what. Look at that. Mm-hmm. Here is a burn-in.
Outside in the cold distance, a wildcat did ground. To right away approaching, and the wind began to howl.
Good.